Good evening, and I want to read a verse from Psalm 99 and at verse 6. And I shared about in our last session about what name do you call upon. And, you know, sadly, most people don't know what name that the scripture instructs us to call upon. In fact, there's only one name that's mentioned throughout the whole scriptures, through the Tanakh, in the New Testament, or the Brit Hadashah. There's only one name that's mentioned that we're to call upon if you were reading from the original scriptures. But see, that's the problem. We have a translation. The scriptures that most people have are translations of the original text. And the problem is that, that we trust our translations to be accurate. And it's only through these latter years that men have been able to really do research and to find, that the name of our Creator, has been edited out of the original scriptures and substituted with a different word or a different name. And actually the word Lord is not a name, it's a title. It's not even a name. But most people refer to the Creator or to the Mashiach or the Messiah as Lord. And there's a reason they do. It's because they see that word Lord approximately 7,000 times in their scriptures, where the name of our Creator should be there present if they could, if they knew that, that they were reading from the original text. And so, and some people, just will think that's not that important, that his name isn't important. If you do the study, and of course I can't do I bring all the information out in this short little segment here, but you'll find out that Yahuwah is thinks very highly of his name. He thinks his name, and not only thinks, but his name is set apart. It's unique. The scripture declares that it's an awesome name. It's a name that we're to revere, we're to show reverence to, we're to actually love his name, and as I said before, we are to proclaim his name. Now, we can't proclaim his name if you're using the word Lord instead of his name, or if you're using Hashem, which is in Hebrew means the name, or you can't proclaim his name if you're using Adonai. All those words are substitute words, and they have nothing to do with his name. Now, you may be doing it because, you thought you were being honoring Yahuwah by not speaking his name, but I'm here to tell you that that's not accurate. If you read the scriptures, you'll find out quite the opposite, and that we are to make his name known, we're to proclaim his name, we're to call upon his name. And as I said, we're to love his name. Well, how can you love a name if you don't even know it? Or if you do know it, you've been fed the lie or the deception that nobody knows how to pronounce his name. See, all these things have been done by the enemy to suppress and to hide revelation and understanding among masses of people. And it's time. We are now living in the days where, as Yahuwah declared, that he would make his name known. And even the Messiah, the Mashiach, if you read in John chapter 17, or the Yahuchanan chapter 17, you'll find that the Mashiach, the Messiah, said in two different times in that same chapter, in chapter 17, that he had made known the Father's name unto his brethren. Twice he mentions that in that chapter, that he had proclaimed, or he had made known the name of the Father to his brethren. Now, why would he have to do that? It's because that the name had been hidden through tradition, and men did not know, or the common people did not know, about the name. They didn't know how to call upon the name, because the name had been hidden, and that's been perpetuated down through the centuries. And but now we're living in a day where Yahuwah is bringing forth the understanding and revelation of what his name is and how to pronounce his name. Now, I'm gonna read, and then we'll pick back up on our next session. But in Psalm 99, it says in verse 6, it says, Moses and Aaron among his priests, and Samuel among them that call upon his name. Now his name, and this is going to tell you whose name this talking about. They called upon Yahuwah, and he answered them. Now, again, if you're reading from an English translation, your English translation is going to say they called upon the Lord. Oh, I'm laughing because I'm thinking about how this is so. It's just something that's hard to believe that this could happen. That the name of the Creator would be substituted with a title. And because of men's tradition, that they, thinking that they were being, say, quote, religious by not speaking his name, or if they were concerned that they would blaspheme his name if they mispronounced it. Now, even that shows that you do not know the character and the mercy of Yahuwah. He's not that. I mean, if you were to mispronounce his name, do you really think that he would, hold that against you? Now, he expects you to know how to pronounce his name. If you do the research and the study, you'll find that it's very easy to learn how to pronounce his name. And the problem is there's so much misinformation out there that most people, trying to in their being sincere, trying to find out, not only what his name is, but how to pronounce his name. And there's so much misinformation out there. They've got to, weed through all that. But if you'll steadfast to it, and he'll reveal that his name is Yahuwah, and you'll know that that's how his name is pronounced. And it's important for us to tell others about his name, because that's the name that we are to call upon. Now, I'm finishing up with this verse here. It says that Moses, Aaron, and the priest with Aaron, and Samuel, they all called upon the name of Yahuwah. Abraham called upon the name of Yahuwah. All through the Tanakh, this is the name that they called upon for salvation, for deliverance, for help. And this is the same name that we are instructed to call upon even in the New Testament, in the Brit Hadashah. It's not the name Jesus that's been substituted. That's the English word for the Mashiach, or name, that's been made up because of the translations through the centuries being inaccurate, because his name is Yahusha, is the name of the Mashiach. He had a Hebrew name. He has a Hebrew name. He came in his father's name. He came bearing his father's name. And that's why, and I've done a number of teachings about how we know that it is Yahusha and not these other variations like Yeshua or Yahushawa and all these other names that are not accurate. And but his name is, the Mashiach is Yahusha. He carries the same first three letters of the Father's name, Yahuwah, is Yahu, and the Shah part of his name is the root word for salvation, and it's the noun form of the verb of Yasha, which is the Hebrew number 3467, 3468, and that's the word for salvation. So, with that said, I just want to encourage you to begin to, if you're not using his name, begin to call upon his name. Don't use these substitute titles that clearly are a violation of the scriptures, because what you're really doing is you're taking his name in vain. And what I mean by that is that you're making it desolate. You're treating it as if it has nothing, doesn't have meaning. It's not significant. You're treating it like it doesn't matter what you call him, and I'm telling you, it does. So, with that said, have a good night. Please share this with others, and Baruch haba b'shem Yahuwah, blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. Shalom.